We're recording. This is Machen, McCartney. No, it's not. I'm John Dawson. We're using Machen McCartney as our text. This is Graham Bible College's Greek introduction to Greek, basic Greek, first semester. And this is lesson 4. We're going to be looking at Machen McCartney lesson 6, which are adjectives. And we're going to be looking over the homework from lesson 5, which was Greek to English, and then also lesson 4, which is English to Greek. And some of that I want to look at is going to, when I've said about accents, you kind of learn as you see them, be able to demonstrate them there. So I hope you had an opportunity to do that. Let's begin with a word of prayer. Lord, I do thank you for an opportunity to look at this language. And even as we look at the language, anticipate understanding the language of the New Testament. Bless us in Jesus' name. Amen. All right, I'm going to go ahead and we are recording. Yes, I'm going to share screen, and I'm going to come up and introduce lesson 6. Here it is. Lesson 6 will look at adjectives of the first and second declension. We've gone through the second declension, which is the O declension, Omicron, Sigma, and then also the first declension, which is the A declension, either alpha or eta. We're going to look at the article, that's the, very important, how they agree with the things that they're modifying, and the use of an article, attributive and predicate positions of adjectives. That's going to be very significant in Greek, as well as the substantive use of adjectives. Now, it'll all make perfect sense. But let's take a look at the vocabulary first. It says agathos, and then the a and on would be agathos, agathe, agathon. What is all of this? Agathos means good. Agatha Christie is a good writer, whether you think she's a good writer or not. She's a good writer, okay. Agatha, agathos, it's good, right? We have that, agathos is good. An adjective is going to modify a noun, tell you what kind of a thing this is, a good writer. Now, we'll explain this in a moment, but it could be, is it masculine? Is it feminine? Is it neuter? The answer is, it depends. Whatever it's modifying, it will be that. So if a adjective is modifying a masculine noun, then it's going to be masculine. It has to agree with that. And if a adjective is modifying a masculine noun that's singular nominative, then it's going to have the singular nominative. It's going to match it so that you know when you see the adjective, it's just the same in gender and case and number as the noun that it's modifying, and you know which it goes with which. Okay. Agathos, agathe, agathon. I'm just going to say the masculine one. They're all going to be the same. It means good. Allos means other. Allos. Well, actually, is it German? Über alles, over all. No, that would be overall. Yeah, allos is other. We'll talk about that. Figure another way. Dikaios is righteous. Dikaios. Egero. This is a verb, ends in an omega. It means I raise up. Now, there are different mnemonic devices, and as I said, the most ridiculous you can get, they will be the ones that help you remember. So if you could think, this is one I'd heard, I thought it sticks in my mind. You have an arrow, but it's not a real arrow. It's one of those suction cup arrows. You know, you shoot at a target and it sticks on the wall and you pull it off. So if you have one of those arrows and you put an egg and you stick it on the top of it and then you raise it up, egg arrow, raise up. It's really stupid, but if you have that in your mind, it's like, well, yeah, egg arrow. Eremos Hey, a desert. Oh boy, check this out. Eremos. It is a second declension word. It ends in omicron sigma, but it has an eta in front of it because it's feminine. Eremos. Think of arid. Arid means very dry. Eremos, desert. Eschatos. Eschatos means last. In theology, we talk about eschatology. Eschatology is the theology of the last things. Okay? Eschatos. Kakos. In some language, kaka means poop, bad. Kakos, kaka. Kake, kakon, bad. Kalos means good or beautiful. Calligraphy, kalos, graphos, right? Or graphe. It's kalos, graphe. Good, right? Beautiful writing. That's what calligraphy is. It's beautiful writing. Kurios, that's a noun. It's second declension and it's masculine. It means Lord. Kurios Christos, Lord Christ, or Christ is Lord. That's just one you'll get a lot of. Mikros, well, micro means little, like omicron, little o, mikros, little, small. Necros, dead. If something is necrotic, it means it's dead and it's going to get gangrene and has to be amputated. It's necrotic. Necrotic flesh needs to be taken out or it'll continue to rot. Oh, that's a bad thing, but necros is dead. So a dead man, a dead whatever. Here is the article, ho, he, and to. Those are the singular nominative for the masculine, the feminine, and the neuter. We'll have the paradigm, and we'll go through the whole thing, but this is significant. The hodos, hey, that's a road, a way. Again, hodos is second. It's a second declension, but it's hey, it is feminine. And so its adjectives will all be feminine. They won't have the same ending because this is a second declension. It'll look more like the first declension endings, but it'll be feminine. Pistos, again, faithful. Protos, first. Think of prototype, the first one. Okay, so those are your vocabulary words. And let's just take a look at the declension or the paradigm here for agathos. You think, oh my goodness, there's how many of them? 1, 2, 3, 4 times 6. That's 24 things you've got to memorize. And you do, and you will. You will love it. Okay, but take a look at it here. Agathos, agathu, agatho, agathon, agathoi, agathon, agathois, agathus. That's just like logos. I've already memorized logos, and you've memorized logos, right? It's going to be on a quiz. Have that on a quiz. Well, it's the same thing. Well, I've already got it memorized. Well, that's good. So if it's masculine, it's just like logos. Fair enough. Feminine, agathe, agathes, agathe, and that is again the iota subscripts under there. Agathane, agathai, agathon, agathais, agathos. Well, that's just like graphe. And I learned graphe, and so that makes sense. Well, how about this one? Agathon, agathu, agatho, agathon, agatha, agathon, agathois, agatha. Well, that's just like Dora. So you've already memorized this. You're just putting it all together. They're to be learned across and not in vertical columns. I learned them in vertical columns. And he's the guy who taught me. Maybe that's just the way I did it. Maybe I wasn't listening in class when he said do it all the way across, but maybe just like all the singulars and then all the masculine, all the singulars and then all the plurals. So that's what he's meaning. So these three, those three, etc. Anyway, again, agathos, just like logos. Now here's the difference, because graphe was the eta, 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 alpha, omega, alpha, alpha, right? But what are these others? Mikra, and you'll notice Mikra had the alpha after it. Necros, Necra, alpha, and I think those are the only two. If the adjective before the ending has a rho, it's going to be an alpha. So it's going to look like this one here. Mikra, Mikros, Mikra, Mikron, Mikrai, Mikron, Mikrais, and Mikros, which is just like Hora. That was another one that we looked at for the first declension. And then these are going to look just like you'd expect, like Doron. Okay, now here's one that you need to memorize, and this is going to be very, very important. Those shouldn't be that hard because you've already kind of memorized something like them. This is the, and there's 24 thes. Ho, hey, to. Now there's no nu on the end like Doron, right? Ho, hey, to. I'll do it his way. To, taste, to. Okay, that's kind of expected, except now you've got the t in front. To, te, to. Okay, with the iota subscript there. Ton, te, tain, to. Remember, for the neuter, your nominative singular and your accusative singular are going to be the same. Okay, hoi, hi, ta. Okay, it's got the alpha on the end. Tone, tone, tone. That's fun. They're all the same. Tois, tais, tois. Tus, tas, ta. Well, this looks fairly much like agathos, right? Except slightly different here, and you'll have to learn those. It also says that ho, hey, hoi, hi, those are different thes. They're proclitic. They do not have an accent. That one does. Let's see, this one, that one, no accent. They're considered to be part of the word that that follows them. You would kind of say them together. Hoi polloi, hoi logoi, hoi logoi. Okay. The irregular proclitic forms, the form to in the nominative, instead of tone, it's just like agathos, pretty much. Okay. Now, this is the agreement. I started to say this. The adjective has to agree with the noun that it's modifying with gender, means if it's masculine, it has the modifier is masculine, number, singular or plural, and case, not necessarily the form, because of some of these second declension O ending words, like we just learned, are actually feminine. Eremos. So let's look at some examples here. Ho logos, okay, that's nominative masculine singular. That's nominative masculine singular. Tu logu, okay, well, they're both the same. They're masculine. Well, actually, it could even be neuter. Genitive, right? To logo. And so a sentence like blepo ton logon, I see the word. Ton agrees with logon. Hologoi, ton logon, tois logois, blepo tus logus. Logus, that's accusative plural, masculine. Tus, that's accusative plural, masculine. They have to match. And this is why learning these are so important. You see them, and then you look at what it goes to, and it helps you figure things out. To, do, ron, etc. Hey, hora, Let's see. Let's move on here. Okay, here we go. Hey, hodos, the way. Well, they don't look like they match, but they do, because even though this is second declension, it's feminine. So it's the same in number, case, and gender, just not the same in form. That's a little trick to look at. Taste, hodu, same thing. Blepo, tas, hodus. That's accusative plural, but it's feminine. And so you have to have the feminine accusative plural article here. It's true here. Kalos, logos, which would be a good word, etc. The use of the article. It's the. If you don't have the article in front, you're going to put or an. It's what they call the indefinite article. Greek doesn't have one of those. You just supply it because we have one in English. Let's take a look over here. Two ways that the adjectives are used. There is the attributive position and the predicate position. The attributive position is how we usually use adjectives. The good book, it tells you that something, it attributes a quality to the book. It's a good book. You know, the bad man. What kind of man is he? He's a bad man. Attributes, that's what you're saying. So it's attributive. Okay. That's basically what he says here. In the Greek, the distinction between attributive and predicate is of vastly more importance than in English. As will be observed later, okay, the good word is an attributive phrase. It can be expressed in two ways, either ho agathos logos or ho logos ho agathos. It's either the good word or the word, the good one. You know, the word, namely the good one. You don't translate it that way. You just say the good word. If the ho, the article, is in front of the adjective, that's usually the key. It's in attributive position. It's just describing it. So, ho agathos logos, article, attributive adjective, noun, the good word. Or you could say ho logos, ho agathos, the good word. Okay. The word is good. Now that is not saying that this is what they call the predicate position. It's not attributing like an adjective. It's describing it. This is what's called a predicate adjective in English. You can express this two ways in Greek, depending on whether the noun or the adjective comes first. Hologos agathos or agathos hologos, and that's the way I like to do it. The adjective with no article, and then the article, and then the noun. This means the word is good. This is the predicate position. If the article is not in front of the adjective, right, you either didn't put it again or put it between them so it's in front. That'd be the attributive. This is the predicate position. So here's your little box. Ho agathos logos or ho logos ho agathos. Again, the article is in front of the adjective. That's attributive, the good word. That's how you translate it. Predicate position, ho logos agathos or agathos ho logos. The word is good. That's a whole sentence. Where did the is come from? You don't need the is. Okay? Students should fix this in your mind. Agathos ho logos means the word is good. Distinction between attributive and predicate can be made in Greek only when the noun has the article. Agathos logos or logos agathos, they mean either a word is good or a good word. Context might help you with that. If there's no verb, maybe that's what's being said. Maybe it's in the predicate position. We're going to do most of our things with the article. It makes it clearer. Okay, so attributive position, predicate position. There's one more use of an adjective, which is called the substantive. And basically that's this. We use in English, blessed are the meek. Meek is not a noun. It's an adjective, a meek man, a meek woman, a meek person. Really, blessed are the meek means blessed are the meek persons, the meek people. I guess meek maybe is going to be plural here. It's used a lot though in Greek. So if you say ho agathos, the good, it means the good man. How do I know it's a man? Because it's masculine. What if I'd say hey agathe? That'd be the good woman because it's feminine. To agathon would be the good thing because that's see how important the knowing what the articles are. Hoi agathoi, the good men. Okay. Accent matters. Okay. We're going to deal with some accents by examples here in a few minutes. The accent in the genitive, plural, feminine of all adjectives follows the second and first declension, follows the regular noun rule and not the special noun rule for first declension. When you have in the first declension, the special noun rule is if it's genitive, plural, you have a circumflex over the last syllable, the own, omega nu. That's the special rule. Here, for these, it's not going to follow that. And we'll get a chance maybe to see that when we have them. I'm going to do just one of the examples. Your assignment will be to do these, do at least the first 8. Translate them. You can do them all. You've got time on your hands. It's a good thing. It'll help. I'll go over them all here next time. Agathe, he, ecclesia, kai, he, basileia, kake. Okay, we know that he, ecclesia is the church. That was a 5th lesson word. He, basileia, the kingdom. Kai, you know that one. And now, if you look at this, this is not in the attributive. This is in the predicate position. There's no article in front of good, agathe. It is feminine. It is singular, and it is nominative, just like the noun over here. So you would translate this, the church is good. Where's the is? Well, that's the predicate position that it's in. And the kingdom is bad. And you kind of get the euphony here. Agathe, he ecclesia, kai, he basileia, kake. So you have good and bad in the sort of pairing this out. But you translate this as the church is good and the kingdom is bad. Let's do one more. So you have to add, maybe do up through 10. So I'll do the first 2 here. Write them down anyway. He, kake, cardia, ton, anthropon, ginoske, thanaton. Okay. He, kake, cardia. Cardia is heart, remember? So the bad heart, it's in the attributive position, right? It's between the article and the word. There's an article right in front of the adjective. The bad heart, ton, anthropon, of men. That's genitive plural. The bad heart of men. That's your subject. Ginoske, knows, thanaton, death. That's accusative singular. That's your object. So heart knows death. That's the simple thing. The bad heart of men knows death. Okay, let's go and go back to lesson. Actually, I'm going to stop share. And I'm going to share something else. We're going to go to the Greek. Lesson 5, Greek to English. And I'll kind of go through these quickly. I'm going to get out my handy dandy book. Okay, now I'll be able to read them. You should have already done these, but we'll just do that. Suke blepe zoane, a soul sees a life. You could say a soul sees life. I just put that in now. Basileia, Gnoske, Aletheon, a kingdom knows truth. Number 3, a man writes commandments and laws. 4, apostles. Yep, postavoy. Apostles take servants and gifts and churches. 5, apostles and churches see life and death. A son of a slave says a parable to a church. I suppose you could say a slave's son says a parable to a church. Number 7, we say a parable and a commandment and a law. Those are all singular. Parabole, legamen, kai, entele, kai, nomon. Yep, they are. You, plural, know kingdoms and churches. An apostle teaches a servant, and a servant teaches a kingdom. Now, this is one that you'll have to figure out, and it's through context. It might even work. An apostle teaches a church, and a servant a kingdom. Well, what's the verb there? It's the same verb. It's not repeated, but you understand it. What was it here? It was ecclesian, didaske, apostolos, kai, basileon, doulos. Yeah, this could throw you here a little bit. The first one is a law. Is that what it is? Wait, am I doing the right one here? Oh, sorry. Okay, a church. Well, an apostle teaches a church, and a kingdom, a servant. Well, you know that the servant's doing the teaching because the servant is doulos, which is your nominative form, and basilean, that's the thing being taught, the kingdom being taught. Anyway, number 10, a man writes a law and a parable to a church. Number 11, hearts of men have life and peace. You could say men's hearts have life and peace. 12, a voice of apostles teaches souls of slaves. 13, an hour has glory. 14, voices of churches teach kingdoms and men. 15, you, singular, see gifts and glory. 16, he writes a word of life to a church. 17, he says a parable and a law to hearts of men. And 18, a son of an apostle writes to a church. I should probably add this to the email so you can see these at your own pace. Again, if there's questions, this is where we'd answer the questions. How'd you get that? Why was this? Oh, yeah, I see what I did there. We can't do this because we're not live. Pull this one down. We're going to share the Greek. Now, this probably be even better. This is all of the Greek from lesson 4. This is the English to the Greek. And on these, I want to talk about, wait a second, something's not right. Pull that down. Uh-oh, I just got rid of something. I'm going to pull this back up and pull this back up. Oh, there's that. And wait, go back. Down. Push that down. We're still recording. We share the screen. And now we come to here. I've learned this from before. I'll put something up and I'm seeing it on my screen, but I didn't share it properly and it's not on the screen. It's just kind of, anyway. Let's take a look at this. This is the Lesson number 4, we're going to do the English to the Greek. And we're also going to talk about accents. Okay. A servant is writing a law. A servant is doulos. It is writing. Graphe, he is writing. Nomon. That's in the it's in the accusative case, singular. Okay, that's pretty straightforward. Look at 2 here. A son sees words. Huios, blepe, logos. Well, huios, that's singular, masculine, nominative. Blepe, logos. But note here what happened to the accent. When you look at huios, ho, it's an acute accent on the last syllable. Because a word is following it, if there would be an acute accent on the last syllable and it's not the end of the sentence, then you change it to the grave. That's the whole business for the grave. I'll try to point it out when we see that because it was one on the next one as well. So that's the only deal. That's the only deal with the grave. Adelphoi, luusi, doulos. Brothers release servants or slaves. Brothers are loosing servants. Fair enough. Here, okay, adelphoi, well, because it's on the end of this diphthong, and it is an acute, it's going to change to the grave because another word follows it. Number 4, sons take gifts. Huioi, lambanusi, dora. Okay, this is nominative. No, it could be nominative, but it's not. It's accusative plural. Remember, for the neuter, the accusative and the nominative singular are the same. Accusative and nominative plural are the same. Again, the accent shift. Number 5, an apostle sees a servant and a gift. Apostolos, blepe, doulon, kai, doron. Pretty straightforward, kind of what you'd expect. Oh, the kai, it's followed, so it's going to have a grave accent. 6, servants and sons are saying a word to a brother. Servants, douloi, okay, kai, huioi, they are saying legusi, a word, logon, to a brother. Adelpho. Now, more accent business here. Very common, the nominative for the nominative and the accusative, it doesn't necessarily change. I mean, again, adelphoi, the accent is on the last syllable and it's an acute, or it'll become grave because of the word following here. Here, it's a long syllable, and because sometimes if the accent's on the long syllable, it will be a circumflex. I like the other circumflex better than that tilde thing, but I like the font for New Times Roman in Greek. So this is now going to be changed because it's a long syllable. Often a long syllable final it'll be the circumflex, not always. But if it's genitive or dative, in this case it's dative, it's going to be. You'll see more of these. Number 7, we see gifts and servants. Blepomen, we see gifts, dora, kai, doulos. Fair enough. Number 8, men see words and gifts of a brother and houses of an apostle and sons. Oh my word. Could this possibly be any longer? Men, anthropoi. Okay, here's a note about accents. Again, if it's oi, the omega iota, or I, alpha iota at the end, even though it's a diphthong, it's not counted as a long syllable for the accents. So anthropoi, it stayed right there. Anthropoi, blepusi, they see words, logos, kai, dora, gifts, of a brother. adelphu, kai oikoi, houses, apostolon, it's houses of apostles and sons. So both apostles is going to be genitive. It's the apostles' houses, and it's the sons' houses. They're genitive here. Note that some accent things here. Adelphu, again, that's genitive. And so this long accent is this long vowel is going to get the circumflex on it. Apostolon. Okay, here's another of the accent rules. If the last syllable is long, the ultima is long, you can only have the ultima or the penult accented. So usually apostle would be apostolon. But because this is long, it can't be here anymore. It has to move at least one over, and it does. Apostolon, kai quion, and again, that's a genitive, so it's going to be the circumflex. We'll keep seeing these. It'll begin to make more sense as we do it. And I hope, I don't have anyone to proof my work here. I just did this up and I've gone through it. I had a secretary that when I go through, she'd check things and they pop out at the editor. Not to me. Number 9. Words and laws we write to brothers. A word of death we say to a servant. Okay, let me just say I put a comma instead of a colon here because I can't figure out how to make that dot right there. Maybe if I figure it out later, I'll switch it, but I'm just making that. This is not really correct. I just put it because I need something there. There shouldn't be a period. Okay, logos, kai, nomus, graphomen, adelphois. Maybe words and laws. We write to brothers. Let me just make sure that's what it did say here. Yeah. And then a word of death we say to a servant. And that's singular. So let's just take a look at these. Logos, kai, again, the grav, nomus, graphomen, that's all pretty straightforward. Adelphois, okay, the accent is on the last syllable. It's a long syllable and it is dative, so it's going to get the circumflex. And again, okay, Omicron, iota, sigma, that's a long syllable. If it's just Omicron, iota, that's considered short. Why? I don't know. It's the way it is. We try to study the rules and then we have to learn the exceptions. Sorry. Well, it's the way it is. Okay, let's look at this one. Logon, a word, that's what's being said. Thanatu, right? This is of death. Okay, this would be thanatos. The accent should be here, but because Omicron upsilon, it's a diphthong, it's long, it can't be, it has to move one forward. And by the way, if this is long and the accent goes here, it has to be acute. You can't have a circumflex here if the last one's long. If the last syllable is long and there's a circumflex, it's got to be on the last syllable. If the last syllable is long and the accent is on the penult, the next to the last, then it's going to be acute. Legomen, dulo. Oh, same thing. This is long, and so this has to be acute. All right. Let's look at number 10. A son is seeing temples and houses. Quios, okay, that just changed to the grav. Blepe, hira, that also had to change to the grav. Kai, again, oikus. Now, this had to change to the acute because this is a long syllable. Remember, oikos generally has, in the oikos, the lexical form, has a circumflex. And whenever you have a diphthong, the marks, whether it's the breathing mark or the accent, it's going to go over the second of the vowels so that you know it's a diphthong. Anthropoi, Dinoscusi, Thanaton. Men know death. Humans know death. That's what we're trying to do here. Number 12. You, singular, receive an apostle's gift, the gift of an apostle. Okay. This is number 12. Yeah. Lambanes, that's you receive. Doron, a gift. Apostolu, of an apostle. Again, note the accent moved from here where you expect it because this is long over here. Number 13, you, plural. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I did this wrong. Let's fix it. I did you, singular. You, plural. Okay. Graph. Let's see. Let's put this over to Greek. See, I didn't have anybody to do this for me. Graph ete. You, plural. Graphete. Logon. You wrote a word. You are writing a word of a brother's word. Logon adelphu, that's genitive, and it's going to go here. To a servant, doulo. And again, with the accents, this had to change to a circumflex because it's a genitive and it's on the end. And this had to change to an acute because this is a long syllable. Okay. 14. I loose servants and say words to sons and brothers. Let's bust that up here. Luo, do loose. I loose servants. Fair enough. Kai, lego, and I say words. Logus, I say words to sons. Huiois, okay, that's dative, plural. Kai adelphois, that's also dative, plural. And they're both accented on the last syllable, so they're both going to be circumflex because they're dative, genitive and dative. They'll do that. Okay. Generally, a son sees death. Huios, blepe, thanaton. Well, that was kind of like the very beginning. That was an easier one. Okay, let's look at this last one. 16. They know laws and teach servants of an apostle. Gnoscusi, they know. Numus, laws, that's accusative plural. Kai, and. Didascusi, they teach. Doulos, servants. Apostolu, of an apostle. And again, note how the accent changed here to the acute because that's long, and how it had to move here because if the last syllable is long, it can only be accented on either the ultimate or the penult, one of the last two. So it had to move. All right, that's basically what we've done. There's been a lot there, and I'm going to stop share. And back to me. I would like you to do for next time from lesson 6, Greek to English. We've done the first 2. Do up to 10. Do at least 8 of them. See what you can do with those. Again, we'll have to touch base when we touch base, but Lord willing, you'll be back by then, Kathy. And if this is used for other people, we need to communicate in some way. And then for lesson 5, there is the English to Greek. There's 11 of those. Try the first 6. See how you can do with that. If you can do them all, great. I had one student says, I want to do them all. Good. That's not going to hurt you. But it is time. And the more you do, the more quickly this will come to you. All right. Lord bless you. And if you have any questions, contact me. Let me know that you got this. Thanks. We stop recording.